I was happy.
Why?
Because, of course, I think Neota asked whether he himself has been to Maiduguri. So how did he come about with the analysis he was trying to make? Investigation, as you know, into crimes, are painstaking. Once a crime is committed, you first of all must establish if it was committed in isolation or if there's a greater network. And of course, let me give you a typical example. The bombs went off for the first time in Warri, when the Delta State governor was supposed to have a meeting with the media executives.
And it was a car one too.
That's the car one. The next one was in Abuja, when of course the men had sent a warning that they were going to destabilize the anniversary celebrations. I'm sure for so many people, because a lot of people have come here, to me as a person, I look at them as jobbers. Some of them are trying to seek for relevance. Let me tell you, if the NSA or the DGSSS or the Chief of Defense Staff or the IGP begins to tell you how they're inundated every day with people who are maybe farmers, but because we have the challenge of terrorism, they are all now people who will provide you with technology that will help you fight terrorism. So sometimes, to me, I believe once they don't get a favorable response from these organs, they now turn around and begin to trying to demean or debase these organizations. It doesn't work like that. As I speak now, God willing, I'm saying, before the end of this week, I think we are going to track down those that assisted or perpetrated the crimes of October 1 last year. But if we had gone ahead in a hurry to close that case, of course, whatever we will be doing now would not have been relevant.
So it's not a closed case.
It's not a closed case, because we have the South African people coming from time to time, and so we are working together with them. Because, of course, remember that Henry Ogar is being tried in South Africa. We also have our own suspects here, and so we are working together to ensure that, we are actually close in properly on that case. So investigation is not something that you just do overnight and then you come and begin to give issues. Now, I know that when I gave a press conference in a press brief in Abuja, and I said, look, a few of these people have been arrested. The service never put a number on the people arrested. Some people went to say 100, over 100 and all that. And I can even remember some organizations in the country had gone ahead to say, we don't have the right to arrest and keep these people without charging them to court. You bring these people in, they are human beings, remember. You must first of all begin to identify the reasons why they are taken into these crimes. Nobody will want to become a suicide bomber, for instance. You must be able to bring him to the level of a human being, to be able to talk to him. You must be very kind to him, for him to be able to have some level of confidence in you, to be able to open up to you. So it is only after then he has been able to open up, because of course he won't want to go and kill himself for any reason. Somebody must have sent him to do it. So once he's been able to gain confidence in you, he'll be able to open up to who has sent him. Remember, the person that sent him might not be the main person you are looking for.
How can we stay focused, the security operatives inclusive, because we have so much on our plate? Now, you just talked about the October 1 bomb blast in 2010. And we have that. We have some pockets of kidnapping, some pockets of violence, some pockets of bomb explosions. We have the Boko Haram. So the citizen watching today is a little bit confused. Is that the same confusion we get within the security operatives?
We are not confused at all. And that's why we are saying, once there is a new, will I call it crime? Everybody forgets about every other thing. But let me tell you today, the threat of Boko Haram is not as much as the threat of kidnapping. Because on a daily basis, you have people being picked up.
The recent one in Anambra, for instance.
On a daily basis, people are being picked up. And so if you are scared of Boko Haram, for example, or maybe a bomb going off somewhere, and yet you are on a phone, in a public place, and I begin to scream, oh, look, I'm on my way to Channels tomorrow morning. You know, we like shouting on the phone. People don't whisper into the phone. You're on the phone as if you're holding a conference. Everybody gets to know what you're talking about. You are going, you say, okay, make we meet at our usual place. Which is the usual place? We give out information about ourselves without actually knowing that we're giving out information about ourselves. We must be security conscious. Your telephone conversations must be between you and the person you're talking to, not the whole community. You must know exactly who you're talking to. People pick up the phone, you don't even know who is at the other end, and then you begin to say, okay, you're not sure. Maybe I know that because you're close to Nyota and Chamberlain, for instance. I call you and I say, oh, Sulaiman, Chamberlain says I should call you and ask you where I'm going to meet with you. Because I've mentioned Chamberlain, you have not cross-checked from Chamberlain whether he has actually asked me or given me your number. You go ahead and reel out your address and make an appointment without getting to know whether it is true. A lot of Nigerians do it. And at the end of the day, there is a kidnap. You are traveling. Everybody within the community must know that you are traveling. And you tell them the time you are leaving, the time you are coming back. You are giving out information and endangering your life. Your children attend a particular school. You know, everybody in your village knows the school your children are attending. Your wife maybe attends a particular clinic. Everybody knows. We must learn to keep some certain personal information to ourselves. There must be a need to know.
Okay,
right?
The issue, I'm taking you back again to the issue of investigation. When you're investigating this suspect, are you also investigating the sponsors, the financiers of this thing? And
you can't investigate the sponsors if the suspects do not give you a lead. That's why I say it's painstaking and time consuming. Remember after the October 1 bomb blast, I'm sure a lot of people have forgotten about that because they feel, oh, okay, one or two suspects are in, and so the case is closed. But it's not true. It can only be closed when you have been able to round up everybody involved in the planning and execution of that particular crime. But we are saying that if security agencies are pursuing kidnapping, pursuing assassination, pursuing all forms of illegality in the society, and also have to pursue the new trend, which is the terrorism, the Nigerian people themselves must help us take charge of their own personal security by being more conscious, security conscious, against kidnapping, against unnecessary assassination. Look, let me tell you, there's this scam all over. Somebody calls you, I am Colonel Moses, I am Colonel Murphy, I have been asked to assassinate you. If you don't pay so, you see people running helter-skelter. Ah, madam, they have just called me. One Colonel somebody has called me. I don't know, how did the Colonel somebody get your number? And we have also discovered that sometimes our immediate neighbors, because we don't get to know them, because we don't get to know exactly what they are doing. Somebody dresses very well, drives out in a flashy car, you think he's going to work. But that Colonel Moses could be that next door neighbor who you think is working in one big organization. If you are taking time to know him a little bit better, you know, he won't play a fast one on you.
Okay, well, I guess that answers Odiakos' question. He was going to ask how is it difficult to arrest financiers or politicians who are sponsoring it, but now he talks about the lead and all of that. But in terms of technology, which security agencies are going to get, one wonders, I mean, yesterday we saw this headline, phone conversations or phones in the country will be monitored. Everyone was beginning to look over their shoulders. What about how are Nigerians supposed to grapple with this thought? Because they know that when government changes, so many things change. Information changes, budget changes, implementation changes. What about institutions? How are we going to be sure that these informations or these things will be properly managed hereafter, such that they'll be willing to just divulge information about themselves for government or for state purposes?
You know, I think it's a problem. And most times I think I blame the media, and ask me why. Because sometimes the media tends to overblow issues, give them this kind of huge, I don't know, identity that it's not supposed to be. I want to ask, is it today that telephone conversations are being monitored? For heaven's sake, it's not. If, for example, we are trailing you, of course we have all the enabling gadgets to monitor your conversation, to locate where you are. We are gradually getting there. But Nigerians have also said that we are not working. So if we decide to monitor your conversations in order to provide you with security, it shouldn't bother you. Except, of course, there's something else you're doing, you know. And that's why people must learn to live honest, you know, direct, transparent lives. So I don't think it's an issue. Because it's not just a new thing. We all know that if there's a kidnap case and it's been reported to security agencies, how do we go about achieving results? It's through tracking. I'm not supposed to sit here and begin to talk about all this because these are technologies that are there and they are being upgraded on a daily basis.
Well, a quick one here. This relative calmness we're experiencing, how long are we going to experience this? Is it for a while, or should we go back to sleep or keep watching our backs?
It is not over until it's over, if I must borrow that phrase. We want people, if you have to go in and sleep with both eyes closed. You can only do that once you have been able to secure your environment. Let me tell you, when it became necessary that people should live in houses and no longer in caves, they built these houses, put doors, put windows. There would have been no need for you to put apart from the frame itself, you wouldn't have needed a door to be emplaced and then for locks to be provided. The fact that you have provided a lock is to secure the house. And it's only when you have secured the house and you know that